Hello, everyone. My name is Leanna Davis from Love Learning STEM. I am extremely happy to be here right now to be able to talk to you. I am going to be sharing all about teaching hacks in Google Classroom. So I've got 9 game-changing tips for you, things that have worked in my classroom, and it's going to be a quick one, but it's going to get you moving and grooving in your classroom, and I cannot wait to share them. Now, before I do get started, I do have a course going live in spring 2021, just a few short months. I'm going to be able to release my most favorite, my most prized possession in a sense. I've been working on it for a few months now, and I cannot wait to get it released. So everything that you would need for Google Classroom, everything from A to Z, from logging on to getting your students in, to creating assignments, to getting engagement in Google Classroom, all of it is going to be in this course, and I cannot wait to share it with you. I have uploaded a link for you to waitlist. Join the waitlist. It doesn't mean you have to buy. It just means you're going to be the first to know when it comes out. But the link is in the chat down below, so make sure you sign up for that waitlist. I cannot wait to share it with you, and it's definitely going to be at a really great price point. I can't wait. Now let's get straight into it. The 9 hacks that I can't wait to share. Number 1, if you didn't know, reusing posts is a thing. You don't have to create new assignments every single time. If you have a weekly assignment, guess what? You can actually create reuse assignment or reuse post and use the same post or assignment you had from another class, even if it's archived. Yes, you don't have to work double as hard. Use posts you've already created, assignments you've already used, and this will get you thinking even more long-term. How do you create assignments that can be used over and over again? You just tweak it a tiny bit or add a new slide to it, whatever it is. But that's a game changer. Number 2, rubrics. If you don't grade using rubrics, you are so missing out on adding so much time to your grading. Make sure you create a rubric. It doesn't have to be crazy extensive. You can just have 4 columns, down 3, and make sure you keep it simple for the students, but you're able to give them enough information about their work, enough feedback that they can take from it and learn from it. And another great thing about these rubrics is that you can reuse them. Yes, they are magnificent. And the great thing is that if you have a colleague that wants to use that same rubric, Google Classroom allows you to download that rubric, and you can even send it out, and then that teacher can upload it to the Google Classroom. Now, if you don't know, this will be in the waitlist in the course that's waitlisted, but if you really want to get this information right away, let me know. It's super awesome. Now, the next thing is the review button. It was new as of fall 2020, I want to say. And once I saw the button, I knew it was going to be glorious. Now, I have over 400 students. I don't know how many you have. Multiple subjects teachers generally have around 20 to 40 max if they're dual. But any middle school, high school, or STEM specialists, anything like that, you're going to have a lot of students, and you are definitely going to want to have that review button, because let's say you go through all your assignments and you do your grading. Great thing about Google Classroom is your students can complete assignments at any time, and they totally do. They literally turn in assignments at 11 p.m. and I don't know what they're doing at 11, but they're doing work, and you see it in your email. And so you don't have to have notifications for your email. Student turned in late assignment. You simply turn off your email notifications. And then when you log on to Google Classroom, because remember, we do want that work-life balance, you can click that to review button whenever you're ready to grade and see who has added any assignments and from which class. It won't just be one review for each class. It'll be one review button for all your classes. So phenomenal. I love that one. Okay, another thing. If you are on Google Meet or Zoom, I know you're doing lessons on live, right? So you're sharing your lessons, you're having them do activities. And I love that Google Classroom has those 3 dots, and you get to click it and then click copy link. And that's the perfect thing that I can share with my students in Google Meets, because as much as my students have been in Google Classroom all these months, they still have struggles finding assignments. So that copy link is so easy to just put in the chat and say, all right, kids, click that button. It's going to take you straight to the assignment I need you to do. So that's been awesome. What's next? Okay, I've got a little paper and I'm reading off of it to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, the next one is a really cool one. If you have the app for Google Classroom, you can actually go onto the app and there's a spot on there that has a random student chooser. So literally, if I'm in class and I want to call on someone to answer, I don't need to write on popsicle sticks and choose a popsicle stick because remember, I've got 500 students. I can literally choose a random chooser in that class and it'll give me a name. And then it has two options to mark them absent or here, but I don't do it for attendance. I simply go next for the next student and it's been working so awesome. Next one, the comment bank. I know grading takes a lot of time, especially in Google Classroom. People think it's a lot easier and a lot quicker. I found that writing comments in Google Classroom and looking through all the different assignments and making sure you're checking everything has taken a lot more time for me. Now, Comment Bank has created this this transition place for me where it's become a lot easier. So I have a whole lot, like 40, 50 comments that I can choose that I've already input into the system, things that I would know that I would say to the kids. I love the work you've done on this page, it needs some, please make sure that your sentences need punctuation, whatever it is, simple things, but you know your students need that reminder and that feedback because you want them to grow. Now, when you're grading in the Google Classroom, you don't have to scroll through your 40 comments. You simply type in the keyword punctuation, and then you'll see whatever comment bank has punctuation. You click the right one. So you can literally go through a class with comments in like 20 minutes for one assignment. It's so awesome. Love it. Next, which I don't think we have many more left. I did a good job. Okay, I have actually two more, unless I'm not reading. Oh, three more. Okay. The next one is importing your Google form quizzes as grades. So there's that new button that says import grades. And when you have a Google a quiz or a form in your Google Classroom, I love that button. I don't have to do any grading. As long as there's no multiple choice in my quiz, I literally click import grades and all the grades pop up, and that's been awesome. I do make sure that all the students have turned in their quiz because after a student I've graded all of it, it won't grade that quiz, so I would have to go in manually and grade it. But other than that, I've loved that function, which literally takes like a second to grade 500 quiz. Well, it doesn't take a second because I have to go into each classroom, but you know what I mean. The next one is going to be Nearpod. If you haven't used it, you need to use it. There's an integration Nearpod with Google Classroom, and they have both a free version and a paid version. And I use just the free version. I haven't paid, and you get just about all the really good stuff in the free version. So it works simultaneously with Google Classroom and Google Slides. So if you want to do more research, let me know. I can do it for you and give you a demonstration. But one of my most favorite things about it is that for one of the functions in Nearpod, you can actually have your students respond back to you with their oral voice. So you don't need to do Flipgrid and go to another website. You could simply do it in your Google Slides with Nearpod. So that's been awesome. And my last one, a game changer from the very beginning of quarantine time, has been recording with my phone. Just a simple, so I have my app. I do use my app for Google Classroom. I literally have an assignment that I posted and I realized, oh, I need to give them some extra directions. And so I literally log on to Google Classroom, go to that assignment, and record myself within that app and upload it so it doesn't get saved on my phone. There is no extra recordings of me on my computer. I just simply go straight to my Google Classroom. Of course, it does get saved in my drive for my work, But that's worked really well for me. It saved me a lot of time. Just easy, quick record and go. So those have been my top hacks, and I hope it helps you. And don't forget, if you need help, if you don't want to feel like you're drowning while you're teaching online or Google Classroom, or if you know someone that is just they need help with Google Classroom, let me know, or create or fill out that in the comments the waitlist information. Just simply click in, put your information in for that course. You will be thriving. It's going to be amazing. You're going to be so confident, and your students are going to love learning online. But other than that, that's about it. I will check you all out later. Bye, everyone.